perfect way. You no longer exist, you're no longer in my
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cow, and alongside me as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamorous Anjulie. What's going on, Anjulie?
Hello. Another Monday, another recap.
Yeah, it's of the one of the big four that we usually are very excited about because, I don't know, like, they usually have more promise and stuff, bigger card. They usually last 5 hours, but surprisingly, this one did not yesterday. It came in just in the 3-hour mark, like the old school, 7 to 10 pay-per-views they used to have back in the day before they moved it to 8 to 11, and now it's back to like 7 to like 12. But yeah, it was only 3 hours, so what'd you think of the show?
It had its ups and downs for sure. There was a lot of exciting things that happened in matches that maybe I weren't particularly excited for. But all in all, I think it was an enjoyable show. What did you think about the quote unquote crowd?
So I guess it happened on SmackDown first, but as me, I don't watch it. I watched it in fast forward, and I still didn't notice that on thing. I was like, what is this? So then I ended up looking up at a website because like someone said, like, I think Jericho said he's really happy about the Thunderdome idea. I'm like, what the hell is this Thunderdome? So I click on the link and I watch it. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. So when I saw it yesterday on Summerslam, I mean, it was awesome. I love seeing it. I thought it was really I think Big Time also said he loved it as well. Big Time did comment that he did not like the name of it, which I think is a kind of a stupid name. They could have called it like the Planetarium or something because WWE Universe. So you're looking at the planetarium, you kind of see the universe. I guess they can't really use Planetarium, but they could have thought of a better name than Thunderdome. But it was really cool. I like seeing all of it. People had like things like stuffed animals or Pikachu. I saw once at one point they had some like Kermit the Frog in one of them. I'm waiting until someone gets like banned because they do something like inappropriate. But yeah, it was really cool. I don't know. I think that they sent out like codes for people to use, and you can only use the code once and get in once you're in, stuff like that. But I thought it was really cool. Did you like that idea?
I did. I thought it was pretty cool to see like actual people not paid by WWE as to be in the audience for legit reality reactions. Do you think those were highlighted crowd noises, or do you think those were like legit?
No, that's what I was gonna get to next. Yeah, they pumped crowd noise through the audience. You can't. I don't think like you could put the chat live because people would just start cursing and stuff like that, and they couldn't do that.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they could do that, but the way that they got everything in unison, like, there's no way that like everyone kind of did that. So I'm pretty sure it was really weird because like it was like the timing was off and stuff on that as well. Sometimes they did something and the boo came like a second and a half later. So yeah, it was definitely kind of like if you remember the Royal Rumble when Rock fought Mick Foley, or I guess Mankind, I think it was, or maybe Mick Foley, I'm not sure. And then an I Quit match, and you'd actually say I quit on the mic, and they had like a voice of Mick Foley saying I quit, but that was when he said like I'll never say I quit, and like Rock recorded that, the Rock recorded that, and then had the production company play it over. That's how he won the match. So it's kind of like that, where like it was like I guess we call it like a sampled sound, or what do you call it? They already had it recorded, pre-recorded studio sound that they.
Okay. Yeah, because I just wasn't sure how that would have worked on the screen. But what it did make me realize is that even though there's a lot of like talk about Raws and SmackDowns like lower ratings than late, it showed that they are not hurting for money, because that was a lot of screens.
Yeah.
And I was like, Well, at least they're still making profit, guys. So I don't think we have to worry about them for a little bit.
Yeah, I think Vince McMahon was recently on TV because he's like, he made $1 billion. He's over $1 billion now. He's like 1.28 billion or something like that, from wrestling, which is ridiculous, or entertainment, you know. But other places have used this. I think the NBA might have been the first people to use it, where they put like the screens in the back.
Yeah.
So it made it more personable and stuff. So now when they're actually pandering to the crowd, they're actually pandering to the crowd, which is kind of cool. NHL has been having a lot of fun with this throughout the season, the pandemic season, I should say, where they're like they would like announce attendance for the playoff matches. Like, tonight's attendance is a dismal 0. Unfortunately, nobody showed up. And then like another one, they're like, we actually have 4 fans tonight. Let's go ahead and show them. And they would show like 4 fans in the audience, which is like just like the wind blowing machines, like an actual fan that blows air. They showed, and the announcer would be like, at least they're being responsible, because they were like 6 seats apart from each other. So that was kind of cute. Like it was really well done.
It's better than the cardboard cutouts from
in baseball.
what is it?
But you know what?
I mean, it was funny at first, and now it's just like, oh, okay.
No, but you know what's cool about the cardboard cutouts in baseball though is because you the fan like pay whatever the money it is, and then you get your body put there. So it's like you're in the audience.
Oh.
So you could, if you're lucky, you could see yourself. Because I know the way I heard about this first is like one of the people from the local radio station was talking about the Mets, and the last time the Mets won the World Series was 1986. So they charged $86 to print out your thing and put it on one of the chairs in the Met Stadium.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Because I know that for the Philly Stadium, a good number of the radio personalities, especially because a lot of them do broadcast on there sometimes too, like their cutouts are there. So I did like I said, I liked it initially, but then I just get sad when I don't, because I'm not seeing people.
welcome, Arrington. Yeah. Well, the Yankees actually, if you don't notice, the Yankees earlier in the year, I guess it got to be too expensive. But they used digital audience, so they overlaid an old audience videotape. Like, but it was really like them in the seats. It was really cool. So when they hit a home run, like, it would show the fans in the audience like trying to catch it, like, not catch it, but like they'd be reacting to the home run and stuff. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. Like they start cheering, but like, if the camera's at the wrong angle, you just see chairs. You know what I mean? It had to be at the right angle. Kind of like when I put my hands up like this and like my green screen comes up like that. It's just the same effect. They overlay an audience instead of me putting the Summerslam logo behind me. So if I raise my hand, so I'm trying to get it fixed, but now it doesn't work. Whenever I try to fix it before I stream, it doesn't work. And now, like, after stream, oh well, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the actual pay-per-view, why we're here. Up and down, I thought the card was pretty solid. I wasn't really interested in many of the matches, but for the card, I thought it was a really good card. And it kicked off with a pre-show match, which featured the United States champion, Apollo Crews, defending against MVP.
Yes, I think we should say that for the pre-show, this was the last time, for at least the immediate future, that we will see Renee Young as on the announced team and backstage personality. She is going to be moving on to other projects. But so I thought that was pretty cool that she still got to kind of have a little send off, because she did put in about almost 5 to 8 years with this company, and very well received by the audience. So I'm really glad that she got to have something.
And the first woman to call Raw as a commentator.
Yeah, and the first one to be a commentator. And I know we don't like to mention it, but in Saudi Arabia, so it's still big history making boundaries that she's done, and I hope for her the best. Like, I found her, she's very entertaining to me, especially if you do watch some of her Instagram stories. They're pretty entertaining too. But wish her the best. Apparently, she's still gonna be on Fox Backstage.
No, that show got canceled like 6 months ago.
Oh well, according I was reading her post on Instagram, but it seems like she still does have some sort of contract with Fox, so she still has some sort of income coming in. But we wish her the best. I'm gonna miss hearing her in my ears calling matches, but as with life, you have to move on to that next phase. And the first phase of this SummerSlam kickoff show was, like you said, Apollo Crews versus MVP. And this is, I guess it's supposed to be a culmination of about maybe 2 months of build-up on Raw. with MVP trying to recruit Apollo to their new stable that I guess they're officially calling the Hurt Business. I don't like that name for a faction name. Like that could be like their tagline, but I personally am not a fan of that name as their faction. Which also included Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and Cruz being the babyface that he is has negated all claims of them trying to recruit him. So of course that caused strife, and they had a couple of matches back and forth that some of them were actually really pretty good on Raw, including one in which Apollo was, I don't know if it was just storyline not able to compete or something was happening behind the scenes that he wasn't able to compete. I think on the last pay-per-view, to which MVP just donned himself the almost like cruiserweight. That is not the title of the United States champion, which gave us some funny segments on Raw. But this would be the culmination for this title of that feud, where it's kind of started off well with Cruz using his speed and athleticism to go after MVP, who of course is a little bit more older. And MVP, as you know, was never really known for the fast-paced moveset anyway. But eventually, MVP would ground him by tossing him over the rope and through the ring apron to get the upper hand. Which again, we would have Cruz coming in for the comeback with a big dive over the top rope, with knocking them both to the ground, which would lead them to an almost 10 count count out, which I'm glad I didn't go with that, because that would have been very lackluster. But after that, you would have MVP going for his signature move, the Playmaker. Excuse me. But that would be countered into a toss powerbomb for him to score to retain the title. It was actually a really quick match. I think it was maybe like 8 to 10 minutes possibly. But after the match, we do get the rest of the Hurt Business of Lashley and Benjamin trying to come out because they were banned previously because Benjamin lost a match on Raw. I don't know why that was stipulation, but because of that loss, they were banned from ringside because they would have gotten involved beforehand. They tried to attack Cruz after the match, but he managed to slip away and go back up to the top. As most kickoff matches, it wasn't the greatest. I mean, we have had some good ones, but this one kind of wasn't that great, which was kind of disappointing because they had some really great matches, one or two matches on Raw, and the fact that they were making this a really running storyline on Raw for, like I said, almost 2 months, it's kind of, like I said, disappointing that they would relegate this to the pre-show when there was actually another match that I thought could have been a pre-show match. That this could have been the opening match to get the crowd at home a little bit hyped up. But I guess they didn't deem this important enough to be on the main card. But it was all right. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I started watching it, and then I think I fell asleep, and then I woke up when the pin happened. So that's how much I thought about the match.
It was a quick cat nap because the match wasn't that long.
Because I think I heard like someone scream when it was over. But yeah, I mean, I was never really interested in the story angle. I like stables, as you guys always know. I always tell you that. So I'm interested to see where the stable goes. It's not really a stable; it's like 3 people. Even though that's considered a stable, I want more in it. But yeah, I'm interested in the truth business. And not truth business. It's called the Hurt Business. I think of R-Truth. Yeah, the
now I want R-Truth to make a counter stable called the Truth.
It'd be like R-Truth, Little Jimmy, John Cena. Like, it'll be really funny. His childhood hero, John Cena. But yeah, I'm more interested in the stable. But I never really was a fan of this feud, so it didn't really matter to me. The next match was the first of Asuka's 2 matches for Championship Gold, where she fought against Bayley, who defended the Women's SmackDown Championship.
Yeah, so for those who may not have watched either SmackDown or Raw or the opening promo, this did come about because of Sasha's and Bailey's shenanigans and winning the Raw Women's title, to where Stephanie got involved to grant Asuka. I believe she granted Asuka her rematch, or she had a match to qualify for that. And then subsequently on SmackDown, there was a battle royal that that was held that Asuka won to get to fight them both, which I did think was pretty interesting. We don't really get to see that too often nowadays, of a challenger getting two different title shots. But with it being Asuka, I wasn't too worried. And she started out right from the jump, being the aggressor on Bailey, trying to go for quick pinfalls to, reserve her energy for the next match. But Bailey would still find a way to get out of the either submissions or quick roll up and pin ups that Asuka was trying to do. One of the biggest bouts coming from when Asuka hit like this huge DDT outside of the ring, by leaping from the ring steps onto Bailey to drive her into the floor, which I thought that was pretty cool. And then we would get like back and forth between her and Bailey after that, with her firing back with with like arm shots and chop shots to Asuka, and then again we would get to Asuka getting her turn with her hip attacks and knee strikes, with some 2 counts, and then again we get Bailey coming right back with more of her with some leg locks and chop blocks to Asuka. Each of them trying to get either a quick pin or some sort of submission move, but neither one of them able to get that going forward. We did get Bailey trying to do her top elbow drop, but she gets caught in the armbar, and it looks like she might submit. So of course Sasha, who's at ringside, causes a minor distraction. And Bailey tries to get a quick roll up, doesn't work, and which leads to Sasha getting onto top of the rope to distract Asuka again for Bailey to get another attack from behind. Asuka would go and I don't know if this move her name where she runs and hits you with the back of her hips, causing Sasha to, what is it called? Oh, okay. Which would cause Sasha to, drop off the apron, but would lead Bailey for opening for the quick roll up, pin roll for the 1, 2, 3. Bailey retains. But we do know that Asuka has another match against Sasha afterwards, so it hints to get a leg up on that. They attack Asuka after the match, which also probably just builds fire for Asuka later on against Sasha. But all in all, I actually really really like this match. This is probably one of the better matches that Bailey has had as champion as of late. I guess when you do have Asuka in the ring, you kind of have to bring your A game as well, because she's gonna bring that no matter what. But I really did enjoy this match, which I normally don't a lot with lately with Bailey's tag team, with Bailey's matches in general, especially championship matches.
Yeah, this was a great match. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed actually both the women's matches, because to me there was only 2 women's matches last night on the card. We won't talk about the training session that happened in between these matches. But yeah, this was a great match. I really enjoyed it. One of the better ones of the night. And unfortunately, so I didn't, as we all know, I don't know how many times I gotta say this, but I don't really watch SmackDown and Raw. I fast forward through it, and I was like, whoever fights second is gonna end up losing. And then I guess it was a beat the clock challenge, and I guess Sasha won the beat the clock challenge. Therefore, she gets to face Asuka second. I guess that's what happens. But I thought maybe Bailey will face her second.
No, they just decided they would go.
Oh, really? That's what it was? I thought it was. I know they had to beat the clock. They had to beat the clock for something.
On SmackDown. I don't remember.
On Thunderdome SmackDown. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because I think they even said it during the match. I think
okay.
Said the reason why Sasha's going second is because she won the beat the clock. So I think that's what it was.
Oh, okay. No, because initially the SmackDown before that, Bailey was like, "I'll go," and we'll, so we can get her going out quick. But I forgot that I missed SmackDown last week. Anyway. Sorry.
Well, if anybody in the chat wants to tell us, let us know. But I'm pretty sure that was the reason, because I'm pretty sure they said that during the match. But yeah, as soon as I saw like Bailey, I thought Bailey would be second, and with her ended up losing and getting more jealous of Sasha of having a belt now. But then I forgot. Oh wait, Sasha never defends a belt successfully, so maybe that they'll put her second. And then they're putting Sasha second. So what's going to happen? Well, I guess we'll find out later on that evening. But my prediction early on was whoever faces Asuka second is going to end up losing, causing a rift between the two. But yeah, this was a good match. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I probably would have liked to see Sasha in the first spot because I thought she'd win. But Bailey won, so good for her. And I guess this portrays more to the story when we get to it later on. Good match, though. Fun match. The next match was for the Raw Tag Team Championships, Men's Tag Team Championships, featuring the Street Profits against, I don't know if they have a name or not, but it's Angel Garza and San Andrade Almas with Zelina Vega in their corner. I don't know if there's any stipulation in this match. Was there?
No,
Okay.
just straight up tag team championship. Yeah, and again, if you guys didn't know the little backstory.
Oh wait, before we
Montez-
get into the big time, since I love Asuka, but they could have given the second spot for like Alexa or Naomi or anyone else. Yeah, that they could have done that, but I guess Alexa was kind of tied up with the whole Braun showing, but that never panned out, I guess. Naomi, I don't know if she still exists anymore. I think she might. What about Dana Brooke? Someone like Dana Brooks has been working hard lately. She should probably get a shot. And I'm sure there's tons of other... Ember Moon, if she ever comes back, I don't know. Maybe she went to the moon. That's why she's not around. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of women who could say could step up. But I think the whole point was because they both have been tormenting Asuka and kind of screwing her out of opportunities in the last few months. It made sense.
Yeah, I didn't mind it in this instance, although in that battle royal, I was rooting for either Naomi or Bianca. Oh, I think it was a tri-branded battle royal for a shot because I remember even two of the NXT gals being in there too. But yeah, in this instance because of they were trying to wrap up a storyline, I didn't mind it as much, even though it would have been cool to have someone else there. But yeah, with that, didn't mind it too much. Alrighty. So now back to our tag team match. We got a nice surprise by Kevin Owens joining us on ring commentary. Maybe a little biased because he was wearing a Street Profits shirt. And
It was his dress shirt because he had a tie on as well, you know?
yeah, you're right. I mean, I would have gone maybe it was a darker tie just so we can actually see it. But you know, the red on the
The Raw brand. It's representing the Raw brand.
yeah. And I think he might have been the only one to after him and Street Profits might have been the only one to really pander to the screen crowd enthusiastically. That was noticeable. So that was pretty fun. They're both really good at that actually. So we have Kevin Owens on commentary with Tom Phillips, Saxton, and Samoa Joe. And this matchup came about just from Angel and Garza, I think, winning or beating the Street Profits or beating them individually a few weeks back. And then in one of the matches, it looked like Montez had collapsed at the ringside. So we never really got an explanation of what happened until maybe a week or two later when they said they were like, oh, doctor said it looked like he was poisoned. And then we got Bianca Belair to be mixed up with Zelina for a little bit. And it came to find out that allegedly there was some closed circuit cameras showing Zelina tampering with a water bottle, it looked like, of some sort. So of course bringing on more heat for the match that they would be a part of Zelina trying to take out Montez before the match. But so I thought that was an interesting angle of this storyline. But the match itself was pretty alright. And also Montez had been off of TV for a couple of weeks. Might even just been two. So he would be the one starting the match, getting the crowd. It's so weird to say the crowd in screen and at home hyped up for his return to in-ring action. And he's the high flying, high paced, hyper speed one of the duo. So he will be launching himself off the top ropes towards the opponent. But then Andrade and Garza will kind of get the upper hand and keep him on their half of the ring. Doing good tag team work to keep him away from Dawkins. To where they would catch him as he was trying to fly off top rope and slam him back into the arena floor. arena floor, keeping him isolated from his taxing partner, knocking Dawkins off the ring so they couldn't get a quick tag. So Montez could not go for a tag for quite a long time. Finally, Montez was able to fight off of that and tag and Dawkins for the match, the hot tag. Um, so for, that brief burst of action, and then we would get to the culmination of the match where it was Garza in the ring with Dawkins, trying to keep him, again, keep him on his half of the ring. And we would see Zelina get up on the top rope actually, no, it was Montez, actually. We would see him see Zelina up on top rope, trying to distract the ref, and Garza would sling forward towards the ring rope, of course, knocking Zelina off, as you could probably have seen that coming, and then leading Almas to go check on her, leaving Garza with no partner to tag in. Ford would tag in Dawkins. He would go for the power slam. Ford would go for the would you call that a frog splash?
Yeah, it was like a twisted bliss mixed with a frog splash. Right? Because he turned. He turned like a 180.
Yeah, because he
forward to back,
turning his body to the opposite,
which is completely unnecessary. But yeah.
But it's cool to see.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looked cool.
But the Street Profits retained their title, which I do think was the right decision. But they're still showing sort of the distrust and dissension between Garza and Andrade. So we're probably going to get there further down the line. But all in all, I actually kind of enjoyed the match. I always enjoy seeing the Street Profits because they bring that high energy personality to the match. Whether they're actually in the ring or on the apron, you always feel their personality. And I do think it was the right decision to keep them as the defenders of their title.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually I wasn't really a fan. I didn't really know the Street Profits. I always kept calling them Crime Time 2.0 because that's how they portrayed themselves early on when I first saw them. But to me, they're really growing on me. What? What?
And I think it's not quite Crime Time because they're not really playing a stereotype.
No, that's not that. It's like the one big guy and then the one small athletic guy. I don't know. It just seemed like it because they're always backstage talking not really wrestling. That's what I saw at the Street Profits at first. And then now that I see their athletic ability, I'm becoming they're starting to grow on me, and they are pretty good on the mic as well. I didn't really like their promos at first, but I do like how they've been pandering to the crowd and stuff like that. I do. I don't know. I think when they first started, they were very much like it in the backstage segments. If you remember Crime Time's original old backstage segments, it was very much the same thing. Go back and watch. You can probably watch the WWE Network now. Watch Crime Time's old backstage segments and watch when they first came up from NXT, or I guess they were still in NXT and they were just hanging in the back of Raw. Watch those segments and compare that to Crime Time. I'm not talking about gimmicks or anything like that. I'm just talking about watch how they did their segments.
Yeah, I think now that you explain it, I get what you mean. Because when you say Crime Time, we immediately go to the stereotypical thuggish nature of Crime Time. But I see you mean how they were both brought in to be like these backstage promo type guys. But I get it. I get the comparison.
If anything, and we don't really mention other companies, if anything, these two guys are more like Private Party from thing in the same persona with they drink and all that, and they're kind of the whatever it is, the solo cup that they have in Private Party also brings drinks to the ring and stuff like that. That's very similar. They have that
big difference is Montez Ford has orange juice, Cal. It's orange juice.
Oh, is that what it is? I don't know.
I forget how that became a thing, but now it's a meme with the fans on Instagram. That I don't remember how it came about, but now everyone just says it's orange juice as a joke.
But anyway, yeah. So so they're starting to grow on me because their athletic ability is amazing. I love how athletic Montez is now, especially with the twisted frog splash that Big Time said, twisted bliss splash or whatever. Twisted Frog Bliss, he called it. Yeah, it was really cool. This whole thing with Andrade, who I love Andrade. I'm not really a fan of Garza. I could see, if you remember me saying back a few months ago on pay-per-view, maybe half a year ago, before the pandemic, that it'll be Alberto Carrillo kind of causing Zelina Vega to to leave Andrade and join him, and then Andrade will turn face. I can see her leaving Andrade towards Angel Garza, and then being a heel, and Andrade being the face kind of thing, and him always getting beaten down a lot because it's 2-on-1 until maybe Charlotte Flair comes back and helps Andrade win. I can see that, and then having a mixed match at Survivor Series or at WrestleMania, whenever Charlotte Flair's due to come back, Royal Rumble, I don't know when. I can see that happening. Yeah, I want him to be a singles competitor. I've been saying he should be the U.S. champion forever. Like when he did feuding with Humberto Carrillo, now I can see it between them and Angel Garza. Them as a tag team is more like, you enjoy watching it because they're great athletes, they're great fighters. It's kind of like when you put Sheamus and Cesaro together, even though I enjoy Sheamus and Cesaro more together because their chemistry is a lot better. It's like that, taking two great singles competitors and putting them in a tag team. They're successful, but it's, you miss their singles days kind of. But yeah, as for the match, I enjoyed it. Very good back and forth action, very good high flying action as well. But like I said, I'd rather, like Big Time said as well, I'd rather see Andrade singles. And these guys have a bright future, though. All of them have a bright future. But as for a tag team, man, talk about old school tag team wrestling. I love that, like actual real tag team. I don't know if they're NXT, if they're brought up separately and put it together. I don't know that. You'd know better than me. But
Who's that?
Montez and Street, were they always together as a tag team?
I mean, they weren't always together because actually Dawkins started before Montez was signed. I'm laughing at Big Time. But they, like maybe the year or two before they were on Raw, they had been put together. I'm pretty sure, I want to say it might have been in one of the Dusty Rhodes tag team classics. You do tend to see a lot of good tag teams coming out of that. But they before they came to Raw, they had been together and been traveling with each other for a good while. So they were able to build up that chemistry.
The only other people I see with a great chemistry like that are fun to watch are the Viking Raiders. I know I called them the Rangers before, but Viking Raiders. But yeah, I don't know. They're great to watch. And Andrade, as you would like to say, but I guess in Spanish it should be Andrade.
Yeah, as we see with a lot of tag teams, when you become like legit friends and have like learned each other, it shows in the ring.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know who they're gonna face next. I don't know but I really see them breaking apart because they're sowing the seeds now for Andrade and the other guy, Angel Garza.
I mean, Apollo was free with that U.S. title, so I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe wrap up the Ascension angle to either split them up and have him go after Apollo if he's still champion by that time.
Or what I can see is them going in a triple threat match, and Angel Garza screwing, like maybe Andrade will hit the move to finish Apollo Crews off, and he's about to go for the pin, but Angel Garza pushes him off and steals the pin, steals the victory, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that happening, and then them feuding against each other. But all of them I do think have a bright future. I wish Zelina Vega got more time, maybe in the ring as well, because she's really talented as well. IC champion is Jeff Hardy, I think now. I think he just won.
No, it's AJ.
No, Jeff Hardy.
Jeff
Hardy won on Thunderdome.
Oh, see, I told you I missed.
I didn't know that either. I was actually, the funny thing is, I was watching the match in fast forward, but I think I was also playing a game with Will and them, or I was on Will's stream with him. Whatever, I don't know what I was doing. I was watching on one of my TVs. I was watching the match. I turned away for a second. I come back. I'm like, oh, I didn't see the end of the match. And then like 5 minutes later, Will goes, oh my god. Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy's his favorite wrestler. Like, Jeff Hardy's the new IC champion, and then all right, Big Time, and then I think Keith Lee also lost as well. And now Keith Lee's gonna be on Raw tonight. Good night. But yeah, anyway. Oh god, the next match is the loser leaves WWE match. Mandy Rose against Sonya Deville.
Yeah, this match has changed its stipulations like 3 times. Okay, that was an exaggeration. But like when it was first brought out, it was gonna be a hair versus hair match. Which I had literally was sitting here, looking at y'all. I said, please don't make it the hair versus hair match. And then she was like, I challenge you to hair versus hair match. Something. I was like, man. But then because I'm a SmackDown, I don't know why they changed it. I get here and it's like it's a no DQ loser leaves WWE forever, and I was like, wait, what? Okay, it's because it's funny. It's like one thing is like to do loser leaves, and I was like, now we're gonna also throw in no DQ, and I was just like, okay, this this match didn't even need it, um, but we have Mandy Rose coming in, being the aggressor at the beginning, with a slightly new attitude, with uh Sonya like been taunting her for a good while since they're like best friend split, and she cut up. They are making it as if she like cut her hair and hacked it to pieces. She cut like one strand. Honestly, it was like a track, a hair extension, but but that caused her to have to cut it short at shoulder length. Looks good, by the way. That's probably actually her real hair at that point. Um, and so she's now sporting a, um, I don't know what you call that. Not that the wrestling gear. What I I don't know what the name is. The wrestling. I don't want to say leotard, but that's I don't think that's.
It's a singlet, right?
Yeah. Well, it has the two straps, but yeah. Under her normal.
No,
Normally she's in the gold. Yeah. So that was a cool touch to. It's like the small things just to show that you're trying to do a change shift in your character, but she's being more serious in her delivery of the hard strikes to Sonya Deville, suplexes onto the entrance ramp and like burrowing her into like the guardrail, and then following up with the clothesline off to the announce table, and to which she would, after getting Sonya knocked onto the floor, she tries to set up a table to put her through, but Sonya will come through with a chair shot, and then put her back in the ring to try to go for the sleeper hold. At first it started off as like a standing sleeper hold, then she would get her back to the mat with her legs around her waist for the dragon sleeper hold, to go for the submission, but Mandy was able to fight it off and try to get her with a roll up, which Sonya would get out of, and then they would just do some trash talking in the ring, and that seemed to like just fire up Mandy even more, and she starts like hammering her with her fists, and excuse me. And then after that, she would follow that up with a running knee to Sonya. I think she did that 3 times. Third time's a charm. And then do what I later was called known a double underhook face buster. I looked that one up. And then follow that with another knee to the face to get the 1, 2, 3, which would of course lead her to be having to leave WWE. I don't know if it's actually leaving WWE or a leaving WWE situation to maybe take some time off. I'm not sure. But we get Mandy and Otis celebrating in the ring, further putting that that little love angle together. I mean, personally, to me, this might have been at this point in time my least favorite match. I really kind of didn't care. Like, to me, this could have been the pre-show match, and we could have substituted that with a more higher paced Apollo Crews match on the main card, because this was, like I said, this wasn't even for a title. But then maybe they didn't want the full show being a subsequent SummerSlam Night of Champion match. But to me, this was fine. I feel like maybe it might needed another week of like storyline build up, or like I don't know, or maybe it's just me and I just wasn't feeling it. But it was fine.
Yeah, this was the worst match of the evening for me by far. To me, it seemed like a developmental match, or like like when you watch like those old Tough Enough clips where like Bill DeMott is training them how to wrestle. That's what this seemed like. There was like 854 unimpressive knees in the match. It was just like really poorly timed. Like how they slapped their like thigh to make the knee strike sound like a good strike. There was like you couldn't even hear that, especially in an audience. I mean, like in a pretty much silent arena, besides a minimal fan noise they pipe in. It was just really bad, really, really bad. And I forgot to mention that I think Will said that it was because Sonya Deville's contract was up, so that's why she was probably going to lose. They might repackage her and come back as a new character, or who knows, maybe she'll move on. I like Sonya Deville. I was actually kind of hoping Mandy lost because I like Sonya Deville. I like how she's kind of evolved more. So, but it was just boring. I didn't have anything. It shouldn't, like you said, it shouldn't have to be a DQ match because there's nothing really DQ that happened in that match. They used chairs, they used tables, but they didn't use it on each other. Like it never happened to happen on each other. And like whoever took that fight, it may have been Mandy who took the table out. It took like 47 minutes for her to take that table out, and she even set it up improperly. So it was just really bad and really sloppy. It was just terrible. I had no thing. Yeah. With big time, but with Sonya's MMA background, you think it'd be a little bit more technical on her side, which she tried doing, with some chokeholds and stuff like that. But it just wasn't entertaining. It wasn't good. Like,
the thing is, like, they went for that MMA angle, when they brought them up onto SmackDown. It was really very heavily favored, and like she was like knocking people out, and but of course she came up still at the time when Ronda Rousey was on the roster, so she kind of got pushed off to the wayside. But I really do feel like I know she wasn't the face in this instance, but I feel like with her MMA background and her being really angry at Mandy for like always like still in the spotlight, they really could have had this being a little bit more brutal. These supposed to be best friends who going up the jealousy angle, and with also Sonya trying to like not ruin her life, but ruin her life for lack of a better term. Right. Like they both had rightfully anger towards each other, so it really could have been like a hard hitting I hate you right now type of match, and they didn't give them the benefit of pulling that off.
It should have been more of a grudge match, which it wasn't at all. It did not show signs of that at all. But yeah, and like it's kind of a shame because she's if you watch Total Divas, she was pushing herself to be this huge MMA thing, and Ronda Rousey, who has had no wrestling training really at all, came in and like blew everyone away with her wrestling ability, and Sonya Deville was coming up through developmental and stuff, and she couldn't pull off a good match. That's kind of like embarrassing. So I don't know how much of her fault it is, or how much the match is booked. But I was really disappointed in this match, especially in how Sonya was treated and stuff. So yeah, it was just not a good match. I didn't enjoy it. They were not capable of that style of wrestling. I don't know. Like Alicia said, when Sonya came up, she was doing those kind of moves on people. So I don't know. All right, finally I got to talk because you know what? Lead off the match because WWE hates us and they always stack our matches on top of each other, never alternating, which is so weird. This was now what was this match? What was the stipulation? No DQ? Also?
Actually...
No, Street fight. Street fight, that's what it was.
They stayed a lot in the ring.
Yeah, so a street fight between Dominic, who is Rey Mysterio's Jr., and Seth Rollins, who was accompanied by Buddy Murphy, or I think it's just Murphy now. It would have been funny if you just called him Buddy, because he'd be like, oh, there's my buddy. There's my buddy. Remember that toy from back in the day, which like Chucky doll is kind of based on. And Rey came out with Dominic. The match started out with like Seth Rollins teasing and tormenting Dominic, and yeah, thank you, big time. And Dominic was getting kind of like manhandled in a way, and then he showed his athleticism and some luchador moves. Dominic did, and turned the match around. And everyone's like, and Rey's like, show him the man you are, show him how we fight. And he was doing like lucha moves, arm drag takedowns, stuff like that. And finally, Seth Rollins kind of got annoyed, said, "Give me a kendo stick." He used tried to use the kendo stick, but Dominic quickly kipped up and did a drop kick and countered it. And now had the kendo stick and started dominating on Seth Rollins, using the kendo stick to pay him back for all the lashes that he got early or 2 weeks ago on Raw. And it kind of went back and forth from there. A lot of tormenting by Seth Rollins, taunting Rey Mysterio, saying, "Look, your son can't handle it." They had a moment where they went up on the turnbuckle, the tables behind them, but Seth Rollins went for the superplex but did not get it. Dominic Mysterio was able to counter it into a side Russian leg sweep using the so I guess it was a white Russian leg sweep, because that's what Sandman used to do in ECW, using the kendo stick and doing it off the top, or second rope I should say, for second turnbuckle through the table. It was pretty cool to watch. And then it just kind of went more back and forth until Dominic was kind of getting dominated, and what's her name? forgot her name. Is it Angelica or something? Whatever Rey Mysterio's wife's name is, Angelique or Angela, whatever her name is. Angie came out and was at the top of the ramp, kind of like pleading to stop the match because she didn't want to see her son punished anymore. Then Rey Mysterio ran up to the top saying, "No, please leave. I promise you he'll be okay. I promise you he'll be okay." And then Rey Mysterio came back to the ringside, but got double teamed by Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, and then he ended up getting handcuffed to the bottom ring rope. And Dominic is out at this point, and Seth Rollins turns to Angie and starts running up the ramp to go attack the mother, but Dominic stops him, and Dominic starts getting some momentum back and starts beating up Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins, throws Rollins back into the ring, and does a back body drop outside to Buddy Murphy. As Seth Rollins rolls back out of the ring, Dominic is going to the ring and does a 619 out of the ring. Outside the ring, into the ring, back out of the ring, 619, kind of a reverse 619. Rolls Seth back into the ring, does a real 619, goes for the goes for the frog splash, but misses. Seth gets his knees up. He did hit a frog splash earlier on in the evening, tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and also Seth Rollins' ring attire was a tribute to Rey Mysterio when he fought Eddie Guerrero 15 years ago at SummerSlam. Not really a tribute, but a mockery, I guess, of it. And finally, Rollins kind of taunted Rey Mysterio by holding Dominic up like on all fours, saying, "Come on, it's your son. Reach for your dad. Reach for your dad. Come on, you can do it. You guys can reach for each other. You guys can do it." And then as he was kind of reaching, Seth ran to the rope, did the curb stomp, and got the 1, 2, 3, and 1, which as it should have been, he should have won. But Dominic put up a good match, and like Big Time was saying, it was a safe match. They didn't make Dominic look bad. Seth Rollins took care of him. It was very well done on both parts. Very well acted out as well. I enjoyed it. Then Seth Rollins, for the final insult, was he put the handcuff key onto like Dominic's chest, and then Dominic had to go and uncuff his father. It was a good match. Well done. What'd you think, Felicia?
Yeah, I actually did enjoy the match. I think that for Dom's inexperience, the fact that he was protected a lot by Steph and Murphy and Ray to that extent as well, I think they all did a good job of telling an in-ring story. Again, I like my story, especially in the ring, of this maniac and Steph just tormenting the Mysterio family, to where the point it looked like they were even going to go after Ray's wife, which I thought was pretty funny because we know they weren't. But I thought that was a really fun thing to like, the fact that he would even think to like try to touch her, and like have Ray like begging on the sideline, like take me instead. I thought that was very well done. I can definitely see that Dom definitely needs a little bit more in ring, some like legit like in ring experience. But I do think that he got his first actual match on a pay-per-view. Yeah, you can say it's like the legacy treatment because he's Rey Mysterio's son, but I do think he did a very, very good job in portraying that he could have a future in the business, and I definitely want to see more of him for sure.
Yes, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which shows with Big Time's going, like, where do we go?
Big Time's asking, is the feud over? Where do we go from here? No, it's not over, because I think at Payback, which is next week, or less than a week from now, Rey Mysterio is going to fight Seth Rollins and finally beat Seth Rollins. I think he'll finally beat Seth Rollins. Because I guess you can call it a semi.
Do you think it'll be 1-on-1, or would it be a tag team match between?
Maybe a tag team match, but I would say it should better as a 1-on-1 match. I don't mind seeing a tag team, but I'd rather see Dominic done for now, and get the practice that you were saying, the in-ring training. And the next time we see Dominic, I think will be, so if this happens, it'll be Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins at Payback. Maybe another stipulation, who knows? If not, straight wrestling match, which would be better, because that would be no stipulation, just be a straight wrestling match, which I don't think they've done yet, on a pay-per-view. And Dominic, we won't see until he eliminates Seth Rollins from the Royal Rumble next year. That's what I think is going to happen.
That would be great.
Dominic's going to eliminate Seth Rollins from the Royal Rumble next year. That's next time we'll see Dominic, and maybe that's going to cause a feud for there goes Discord. Sorry, Discord crashed again. Yeah, so the next time we'll see Dominic is at WrestleMania, at Royal Rumble, eliminating Seth Rollins, and yeah, that's pretty much what I think. And then maybe they'll start like an elimination chamber match or whatever is in between the two. We'll see there.
Your video needs to be on.
Yep, I know. I was trying to get it on. I don't know. It's not working.
Okay.
There we go. And yeah, that's what I see. All right, the next match is the second match for Asuka, where she goes against Sasha Banks, who's defending her Raw Women's Championship. But is it her Raw Women's Championship? I don't know. I don't consider Sasha the champion, but because I don't think she legitimately beat Asuka. But whatever. This ended up for me being one of my favorite, if not the best match of the night for me, because I really do enjoy Sasha's in-ring ability, and her and Asuka together are always really good. We saw them wrestle in Philadelphia when we went. I think it was on a Raw where Sasha damn near almost killed herself, but it was actually a really good move. From where we sat, Sasha dove out of the ring and looked like she's landed flat on her head, like straight down, suicide dive into her face planted. But when they showed the camera replay again, it was Asuka actually kicked her in the face as she came out of the ring. It was very well timed, and from our angle we didn't see that, but it was really well done. They worked really well together. And big time saying this is a match of the night, which I do agree probably is my match of the night as well. This was such a well fought match. There was great wrestling, great submission maneuvers, great technical ability as well. Reversals and counters of every move they could think of. You know, things into backstabbers, into bank statements, into the Asuka lock, which was reversed into a bank statement, which is reversed into another, a knee bar, into a ankle lock. It was just so well flowing. You know how they say they get sloppy when they put more than two women in, or any more, not even just women, so when they put more wrestlers in, but it happens more on the women's side as we noticed. But these two together were so fluid, and I didn't really see anything sloppy in the match at all. But it was just so well done. We had hard strikes from Asuka that we normally see, and Sasha just taking it and coming back with her wrestling ability. And we had the Meteora. I think the Meteora was reversed into an Asuka lock or something crazy happened like that. It was really cool to see whatever she did. The counter there. We had her Asuka's butt bump, obviously. We had Bayley come in and interfere once in a while, but not really to much avail because she got elbowed in the face by Asuka, which kind of took her out for the rest of the match. It was pretty dumb. Asuka didn't really show signs of any letdown from the first match except for her leg, because I think her knee was injured or something like that. So Sasha worked on that. They probably should work on her back or her neck at the end of the match, because the bank statement is more of that kind of move than her leg. There's no move that Sasha really does that takes the leg out. Sasha actually went for the frog splash as well, but did not hit it. Oh my God, to the outside as well. The way they got to the outside, they did the face buster that you were talking about, or whatever it was. Asuka hit the DDT on this, I think on the outside or whatever. She hit some crazy suspended DDT, and that was cool to see. It was very well done. It looked like it hurt. We had the reverse Bronco Buster, or whatever you call that. It was just a lot of moves and a lot of good wrestling put into a match, and it was very well done. I can't even remember how it ended. I know Bayley got to the apron. Asuka elbowed her. Okay, I remember. Asuka elbowed her. Sasha went for I think another bank statement or something, but she pulled her back for the bank statement, or she went up on the ring. No, I think she pulled her back for a bank statement. Asuka rolled back over, and welcome, Randall. Thank you. Asuka rolled back into it and put into another Asuka lock. Bayley was still knocked out for some stupid reason, like I said, and it caused Sasha to tap out and not successfully defend her title for the 748th time. It was just hard to see, because they're sowing the seeds of dissension among the two, but in a match that was wrestled this well by both of them, it's hard to see Sasha not come up on top. This is probably her best match she's ever wrestled, I think, that I've seen. And to have her not come on top and successfully defend her title is really a shame. If it is even her title, I should say. It's really a shame, right? The only other match I saw her wrestle better maybe is at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn against Bayley, where they did the Spanish fly off the top or whatever it was. It was crazy to watch. But this was such a good match. I can't tell you how it's got to be up there for match of the year. I know we said that about another match earlier this year during the pay-per-views. But this has got to be up there for match of the year as well, up to this point, because it was just really fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, seeing Sasha lose, I knew it as soon as she was the second match of the night she was gonna lose, and this is gonna make hopefully her defeat Bayley sometime soon, or maybe a little bit later. They're probably gonna lose at Payback, and it's gonna be Bayley's fault again. Sasha will probably end up taking the pin, but it'll be Bayley's fault, and that's gonna be like that's the last straw. And then I think Sasha should beat Bayley for the championship and hold it for a while, possibly until WrestleMania. Maybe that's what I see. But this is the best match. I hate to see that Sasha wasn't rewarded. Maybe downstream she'll be rewarded, but that Asuka, Asuka's always great. Delisha, what'd you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. The continuation of the story between these two, they definitely like seem to bring out the best in each other, and I just really enjoyed like watching these two women in the ring, and I wanted Sasha to win too. Hashtag let Sasha defend the belt. So it's really like oh man, like one day she will, one day. But it was an exciting match that you were like, okay, fine, because it's Asuka and they were really great and there wasn't really a lull in the match. I guess fine, I'll accept this defeat of Sasha for like the 10th time in her many title defenses. But yeah, I mean, as they have done time and time again of maybe sowing dissension between these two, or planting another seed in that eventual separation. I am curious of when they may pull the plug on that to like let it go. I mean, not let it go like jump start, but like let it play out. Because I don't know, but
because they teased it several times and then they cut back away from it.
Yeah, they always like get close and they're like, no, okay, maybe not this time. Yeah, and I do agree that in this case, Sasha should beat Bayley for the title because they keep piping up that she is the longest reigning, I think, SmackDown Women's Champion now. So I mean, someone's got to beat her eventually. Why not let it be, the Blueprint, Sasha Banks?
Which I wonder is she's coming up on 365 days.
Big time. WWE does not like friendship. Don't forget that they do not like friendship.
It's coming up on 365 days. So maybe she'll beat him at 364, which might be Payback. I don't know. Payback would be like maybe after they all those matches, she'll be like, I want you here right now, or whatever. And then they start an impromptu match. Maybe like Stephanie will come out and be like, yeah, well, go ahead for the title. You deserve it. Or something like that. And maybe they'll fight each other right there on Payback. And that might be at 364 days. I think they said she was at 359 or I don't know exactly what she was at, but she was close to 365. So that would be pretty exciting to see it happen at Payback. Because there's no really match yet. It's just Sasha and Bayley against to be determined. So, I don't know. Our next match is for the WWE title, which your champion is Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton. And I don't think this had any stipulation either. Just regular match.
No.
The match turned out with Randy Orton basically out wrestling Drew McIntyre. He just did his normal Viper-esque moves, headlocks and just more wrestling technically than anything else. Face Bayley's bad. Bayley's not gonna be face. She's gonna be the heel. Sasha's gonna turn face, and he just basically out wrestled Drew in the beginning of the match, saying like, "Listen, I am the person." I am the face of this company. I guess he doesn't really call himself the face, but he's like the generational blueprint or whatever you want to call him. He's like just the person who's been there forever and that's owned the business, I guess, while Triple H and everyone else moved on. He's still there running the show. Undertaker's gone, all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying them as heels as well, but for storytime purpose, that's how it's going to go. Until finally Drew McIntyre did get an upper hand using his power. But still, Randy Orton is still coming back. Despite Drew's spurts, Drew finally put him into a figure four. Randy Orton used his heels tactics to pull the ref forward and do that to gouge out the eye of Drew McIntyre. So we saw some blood coming out of Drew's eye. That was pretty cool to see. And then Drew busted open Randy Orton with a Glasgow kiss. That was cool to see. and then Drew took the match to the outside, and I forgot who got slammed. I think Randy Orton got slammed onto the table. Didn't really break. It gave way. They came back in with Randy Orton trying to go for the suspended DDT, but Drew countered it, and then eventually Randy Orton got into the suspended DDT. They both. This is actually kind of crazy. Randy Orton did go for RKO in the beginning of the match, the middle of the match, and then he went for one at the end of the match. The way he set it up was that Drew went for the Claymore, and Randy Orton sidestepped it, tried to go for the RKO, but did not get it because Drew pushed him, and put it into a backslide, and won with the backslide 1, 2, 3, which is weird because it's a championship match at one of the big 4 pay-per-views, and neither of the superstars hit their finisher. Normally you see them kick out of like 17 finishers each, but neither of them hit the finisher, and in the backslide, which was actually, if you think of it, quite poetic, because normally you see at a big pay-per-view, like I said, each of them exchange their finishers and kick out, but Drew McIntyre beat him by out-wrestling him. He beat him with a technical wrestling pin, not the straight pin and power. So that was pretty cool to see. It was very well story told. And I know Delisha likes her storytelling, but that was told through actual wrestling itself. Not the facial expression, nothing like that. It was told through how he beat him with that pin, the technical pin. He beat like the superior technical wrestler. Which brings up big time with the great points is I don't like Drew's run as champion. I don't think it's as much Drew as it is who they're putting him against. I think if Drew had better opponents, Drew would be I think Drew really worked his way up and earned it. He came back, went through NXT. He was the golden child. He was the next big thing, according to Vince McMahon, and then he left because he couldn't cut it, right? And instead of coming back to that,
he got fired.
Oh, got fired. Okay, and so and when he came back, it's not like he was put back right at his spot. He worked his way up through NXT and finally won at WrestleMania, beating Brock Lesnar, who was a beast, right? I just don't think he's been put in a good feud yet. Who could bring out a good feud in him? I don't know yet. I'm trying to think of who are heels on that side, who he could face. But maybe Keith Lee will be the next guy he faces, unfortunately. Because Keith Lee's a face, Drew McIntyre's a face, but I don't really want to see that. 2 faces. I want to see him have a good heel. I mean, they could have a good... This could be like the next Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic battle, right? That's what it could be like, with Drew McIntyre being the new Dominic Dijakovic in that sense. What?
No, that's what I said. I was like, well, it could. They're very talented. They're both talented in their own right that they could pull it off. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I wanted him to see against a good heel that kind of like we were saying in the last episode of the AfterTalk, the Rock and Stone Cold, kind of like that oil and water, right? I need someone like that to go against him. Maybe someone like Sheamus, very similar body builds, wrestling types. One's Scottish, one's Irish. Wait, are they both? One's Irish and one's Scottish, right? Yeah. I think...
Who did you say?
Sheamus.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I think Sheamus would be the best feud for him right now. I think they should have that.
So I think they would have to make some sort of because fortune him, they have to make some sort of trade for him.
Oh, I have no idea what brand Sheamus on. Brands. I don't know that. Sheamus, I will allow you to go to Raw. You could be that one wild card that they use per whatever they do, the stupid rule that they have, that no one understands, no one follows anyway. Sheamus, come to Raw and challenge Drew McIntyre for the match. That's going to be a good feud. And that should go on for 3 pay-per-views.
I really have been sitting here for 3 minutes trying to figure out, who actually could be a next good contender. And it just might have to be Keith Lee at this point, because there's just no other person right now that I can think
that's
of.
That's what I see happening, unfortunately. That's why he's being called up today. That's what I see happening, unfortunately. But I don't want it. I love Keith Lee. I love him. But I don't want to see him that fast.
I know. When that graphic came up about Raw becoming winless, I was like, no. I literally turned to Joe and was like, no. And I was like, can it just be for one night only, please?
Because I think people will get sick of him then. Right? It's like pushing him too fast and too soon, and people might become sick of him. That's why I want to see someone
he just came into his own within the last year or so. So
and he only held the NXT title for a day.
When he made that brief feature during the NXT Invasion angle, I still can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. And the words invasion and WWE. but because he had such a big spark there, it was cool. But I do think he could use another couple of months with NXT and like being their face, because unfortunately what they keep doing is they build up great stars in NXT and then they shuffle them out to Raw or SmackDown where they get buried, and then you leave NXT in a flux trying to build up another star to be the face, and then it just keeps a cyclic keeps happening. But also you kind of like back yourself into a corner, because now that you're saying NXT is directly on par as your third brand with Raw and SmackDown, you can't do that anymore. You have to let them have their face of their brand be there for a bit to build them up, and then so that way when they do come to like Raw or SmackDown, like, well, one, you do get the familiarity, but they also can still hang with the upper echelon of those two other shows.
Yeah, look at Andrade, right? Andrade, big name in NXT, right? Came up and didn't do anything, right? Now he's like a tag team person. We see it all too often. Look at someone like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. They're still there, and they're still thriving pretty much, right? There's one person, so if it's not going to be Keith Lee, right? I don't want it to be Keith Lee. If it is, I don't really mind as much, but I really don't want it to be him. I want it to be Sheamus, right? If it's not Sheamus, it's not Keith Lee, here's what I could see happening, who should have been sent up instead of Keith Lee. Remember the night we went to TakeOver and Drew McIntyre beat, what's his name? Bobby Roode, right? Another person, Bobby Roode. What the hell is he doing now? Bobby Roode was big, you know.
I have no idea.
And so Drew McIntyre beat Bobby Roode, right? For the NXT Championship the night that we went. Do you remember what happened next?
Yeah, I do. It was the birth of the Undisputed Era.
Right. Why not have a repeat of that? Drew McIntyre's standing tall champion thing, I beat everybody, and his night was ruined in NXT. When he finally won the NXT Championship, it was ruined immediately by Adam Cole. So Adam Cole should have been called up before Keith Lee, right? So that would have been cool to see. Adam Cole come up. Maybe he will come up. Maybe it'll be a surprise, and he'll attack Drew McIntyre, just like he attacked him all those years ago at NXT Brooklyn when we went. That would be cool to see now.
Yeah.
And they should have left Keith Lee down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If this Keith Lee is just like a brief intervention, just to boost up some ratings, maybe, and then he go back to NXT with that. But I'm just like, I just get so afraid because their record shows they don't know, they can hardly handle the stars they have on their roster now. So like bringing another person, it just makes me sad that he is gonna probably have a good initial run and then just get buried.
The only other thing I could see for Keith Lee, which would be really... So if they don't do that, right? So WWE, I know you watch the show. We have Sheamus, right? Sheamus would be cool to do. If not, do the Adam Cole kind of... The homage to when he came to Brooklyn to take over and beat up Drew McIntyre the night that he won the NXT Championship. If we're not doing that, you're so set on Keith Lee, have him be like the Brock Lesnar character when Brock Lesnar first came into WWE and he acted like a free agent, where he went back from Raw and SmackDown, back and forth, just wreaking havoc on both divisions, right? And then you don't know which way he's going to sign, right? He's the ultimate free agent. And then when Roman Reigns, unfortunately it's going to happen, I think, when Roman Reigns beats The Fiend, we have Keith Lee step up into that spot, because they had like those moments at Survivor Series a few years ago when they fist bumped because like, hey, you put up a good match, you beat me, or where I beat you, whoever won that kind of thing. Like that could be a callback to that moment. Now Keith Lee's going after Roman Reigns, who has the Universal Championship.
I'm laughing because you said a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure that was just last year.
Yeah, okay, last year. The COVID is messed up time.
I know. That's why I was laughing. I was like, we have really, we've really been in a.
And if any of this pans out, and I say this all the time, if any of this pans out, WWE's watching the show, they got to start paying me a contract or something for stealing all my ideas. But back to the matter at hand. What did you think of this match? Because I know you don't like Randy Orton, so we talked about more about Drew's future.
I told you. I keep telling you, when he cares, it shows, and I like it. But yeah, this has been a pretty good feud, because again, Randy is showing interest because it's something a little fresh for him. So he's really putting in the effort, and they were trying to bring back his legend killer ways, so to speak, which is kind of funny because I don't think Drew McIntyre would be considered a legend now, an up and coming one, but I did enjoy their back and forth with the match, and rightfully so. McIntyre should win. We're probably going to get a rematch at Payback with these two probably anyway. So because I feel like Payback is going to be a couple of rematches on there from Summerslam because it's only they're only 7 day difference from each other, so not really much storyline telling or backup build up you can do in a week's time or in one show's time. So
Yeah.
we'll probably get a lot of rematches on
This
this
is
show.
like the backlash of WrestleMania back in the day. And
They're
that was
like,
back in
we
the
didn't
day.
give you that option last time. We're gonna give it to you now.
If they have the word back in the title, it's gonna have rematches of something. Let's just call it Paybacklash.
But
Lee.
But I'm hoping that we, after the initial rematch of these two, that we do get some new blood to inject into. I mean, even if it's someone we've seen before, we just get another freshness that we can get to. Because so far his only marquee feud would be against Brock, if that's even you want to call that a feud.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a feud.
So
I mean, even that's more Rumble.
Yeah, like with a lot of champions lately, a good number of them aren't having a marquee match or a marquee feud. They were like, oh yeah, that match between so and so was great. Like it really showcased like they're a great champion, whether they're a heel or a face. But that's what I'm waiting on with Bayley. That's what I'm waiting on with Drew. Actually, well, some of the champions are new now, but all their champions right now kind of need that right now.
Well, you know who's had a good promos and feud, just not good matches. The next match is Braun Strowman, who is your Universal Champion, against The Fiend this time. For the Universal Championship, it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, I think. Right? Yeah. I want to say Falls Count Anywhere. But their feud has been pretty cool up till now, right? With with throwing in the swamp match, that was cool, and the Fiend coming out at the end saying, when I pretty much correctly predicted that the next time we'll see them fight is a SummerSlam and it'll be the Fiends, and that has been cool. I don't know how much the promo work, because Braun's not very good on the mic, I don't think, but Bray can do enough for anybody. Like he does carry feuds on his own. So he's been doing very well storytelling. Like Alicia always says, she loves the storytelling. But in the ring, man, what? Vince McMahon has got to get over his fascination with big guys, man. There's very few big guys that can move well in the ring, right? Like for all the ones he puts in there. I'd rather watch Great Khali than Braun Strowman. That's saying a lot. Great Khali is terrible at wrestling. He's got like 3 moves. He's like 1 less than Cena, right, or whatever it is. But at least he had that charisma, like that swag, and he was always funny to watch, like the Punjabi playboy. And plus, he's part of my Indian stable, so I gotta love him. Braun Strowman's just got that running power slam and the shoulder block, and then that's about it. I don't even know what else he has, honestly, besides punches and kicks. I don't count those as moves. It's just boring. He can't talk on the mic. He's not big. But now let's give some credit to some big guys who can wrestle and be on the mic. Kevin Owens, right? Keith Lee, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show even, Brock Lesnar, right? He can't be on the mic, but he always got a mouthpiece in Paul Heyman. But these are guys who can work well in the ring, right? And they have some kind of personality. Braun Strowman is just like a rock. You put a rock in the middle, a giant, not the rock, because if he was a rock, that'd be fantastic. He's just a giant boulder. I'll call him a boulder. You put the boulder in the ring and put a little speaker next to it that goes, raw, raw. That's all it does. That's all he does. And to have Bray Wyatt have to carry that man around the ring, not literally carry him, but carry a match around the ring, that is, yeah. So he definitely needs that, a mouthpiece. He definitely needs a mouthpiece, which was Bray Wyatt in the Wyatt family, correct? But he also needs that ring psychology, that to work the technicality as well. No. What's up, Entertained? No, not when we were asking for it. I have never asked for a Braun Strowman championship ever. You can go back to any AfterMat since the beginning of time. I like Braun Strowman because him and I connected at Royal Rumble. That was a cool moment. But other than that, I just don't think he should ever be champion. I said that for the longest time. I wanted Kane to win that match in the Triple Threat at Royal Rumble because I love Kane. He deserves one last shot at the title, even though I knew he wasn't going to win because of his political career going on now and all that at the time as well. But Kane is someone I admired, who could talk on the mic, who could work a ring well. Braun Strowman is none of that. None of that. So I never wanted a Braun championship. I wanted Goldberg to win as much as I don't like Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg's not that bad, but I'd rather have him be champion than Braun Strowman. I wanted Goldberg to hold on to the title and end up losing to Roman Reigns eventually down the line. And that's what I said should have happened. They didn't listen to me, and they got it all wrong, because look how terrible this has been. Thank God they had a pre-tape match where Braun could get acting lessons or whatever it was, that Bray could carry him through the swamp match because that was pre-recorded. But this, oh God, this is so awful. Like, I can't even remember the match. All I remember is like, I can't even remember the match. I know he had like 3 running power slams. They're not even running power slams. They're calling it the running power slam. He takes 1 step and falls down onto the guy. And the Fiend kicked out, and he kept saying, "Stay down. Why don't you ever stay down?" Fiend kept getting up. It was just awful. It is awful watching him wrestle, if you can even call it that. I know he can have personality. He's got to be trained by Big Show, man. Big Show's got to train him, and then Braun could be somebody, I think. But right now, it's too much to ask for somebody else to carry him all the time. When he was with Alexa, I think Alexa's personality brought it out of him, right? The charisma. And then them like doing tag team moves together with like Alexa jumping off Braun's shoulders and stuff. Stuff like that was great. But like him alone is just not cutting it at all. And they're like, "We're gonna see a new side of me now." No, I saw the same old crap I see from you all the time, and it's even worse. So that's even a worse side that I saw now. So forget that. Forget Braun Strowman. Thank God what happened at the end of the match is he hit another running power slam. Fiend kicked out. That frustrated Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman went to the outside. Uh-oh. Lost Alicia. She was so upset that she left. She'll come back, though. Don't worry. So he went out to the outside, got a box cutter from the toolbox, started cutting open the ring apron or the ring mat, and took off the padding and the foam and all that and left the wooden boards exposed. Don't forget, they also fought into the back. That was not even the fun because they fought to the back for like 5 seconds. Braun got thrown into, or I forgot who it was. The Braun or whatever. One of them got thrown into the walls, knocked off the TVs on both sides. Braun got Sister Abigail on the floor outside, kicked out. Bray or Braun got thrown into the Titantron, whatever you want to call that, the entranceway. It was just awful. Just terrible wrestling. Not even wrestling, just throwing people into things. Finally, at the end, the wrestling floor boards are exposed. No more foam padding. No more mat. And Braun's done cutting it all up when he turns around. The Fiend's standing up, and Braun's like, "Why won't you just die?" And the Fiend grabs him, puts him into a Sister Abigail, picks him again, puts him another Sister Abigail, and gets the 1, 2, 3 and wins. And it was so anticlimactic because everyone, if you were there, let's say if the audience was there, they probably would have been like, "What? It's over?" Like they probably would have expected Braun to kick out like 4 times, but Braun didn't kick out. So it was kind of weird to see, especially like after like Goldberg speared like Bray a few times and buried him there, and then Braun buried Goldberg. You didn't expect Bray to bury Braun. It was just really all weird. So like, as soon as Bray wins, he gets up and turns around and gets speared by none other than Roman Reigns, who's back. Then Roman Reigns starts beating up Braun as well. Goes back and beats up Bray, holds up the title, and that's how it fades out. The match is awful. I didn't really like it. I do love Bray still, or The Fiend, I should say. Roman coming back was a fresh breath there, but I worry because about his health and all that. I wasn't expecting to see him back, but maybe they know something more than I do about health and stuff like that in there. Because, they did have some COVID cases in their little bubble, they call it. So I don't know. But it's fun to see him back. So first, Delisha, I have 2 questions for you. Your mic, I know your camera's still activating, but I hope you can hear me. The first question I have to you is, what do you think of the match? Second, what do you think of Roman coming back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me. I thought because it's showing that I was up on my end, but it wasn't. I don't know why it's not showing on the feed because it's showing up on my end that I'm up, like my camera's on. That's weird. Like you can't see me.
It's probably Discord.
Yeah, Discord Discord is like do this in 45 minutes and wrap it up.
They probably got mad at my diatribe. Vince McMahon heard that I was talking bad about one of his big guys, so he had to like cut the feed.
Yeah. I totally agree with you about the match. We talk about it not lately, but we have talked about it. Show don't tell, and not last Friday, but the Friday before when he was in the ring with Alexa, and she's like, "This isn't you," and things like that, and he's just like, dealing with the Fiend or Bray changes you, and I'm like, don't tell me that, show me that, because this 180 just kind of came out of nowhere, to where you're like, wait, what? He's like being like a dick now. So I wish they would have kind of like planted a seed or showed us something to the fact that he was like kind of twisted up after that match with Bray in the swamp, instead of just trying to tell us about it in time for this match here. So to the where I'm just like, I don't care about this match, or about Braun's new attitude, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Braun's issue or what, if it's like the same that we have over Roman Reigns in the just of his single career, or if it's what they're telling him to do. He is having issues portraying that onto the screen. So I don't know what the issue is. I do agree that maybe he does need to work with someone as a mouthpiece or as someone to play off of as like a partner for him. I do think that Alexa could have been that person for him, especially if she's not going to be wrestling as much. That could be pretty cool, especially if they're trying to stick with the new attitude Braun, and she kind of like goes back. Well, probably can't do it like immediately right now, and she was in her heel stage, like that would have been a good dynamic. But I don't know, like I'm with you guys. I am not on the Braun train. I will say I was before, when it was like 2 years ago and the fans were asking for it and WWE was like, nah, we gonna go with something else. But yeah, this match was dull. The only saving grace was Roman Reigns' return, because they kept saying, and for this SummerSlam, you'll never see it coming. This was the only thing I didn't see coming, and I like that. I like that he kind of had an edge, like, you guys are stars because of me. I'm pretty sure he's cutting a promo of like, this isn't neither of you guys ring this. You're still in my yard. I still run this, or something of that nature. This is pretty cool. So we're probably getting Roman and the Fiend. I'm hoping not at Payback. Hoping the pay-per-view after that, so that we can build up some things going towards it. It might just be Braun and Roman at Payback. I'll be fine with that. Let Roman win, then we can move on. But I was like, ooh, this is spicy. I like it. And I don't know if it's because he wasn't like in quote unquote ring gear. I liked him not having the vest on. That was nice. Show me that new shirt. Give me that money, or take my money or whatever. But yeah. But I like that part. That was the best part of that whole match.
I got a bunch of stuff to say. This is amazing. Well, welcome Valami as well, because some of the stuff you brought up, that's the point that you're saying, is I think that Braun is going to fight Roman first, maybe for a number one contendership match, and then they'll go to Survivor Series or something, and it'll be a three-way, because it'll be like the Fiend, right? Oh wait, no, then Roman can't be in it. I don't know, but maybe, I don't know when it'll happen. Maybe Royal Rumble, possibly. I have no idea. Or maybe Roman and the Fiend at, unless they have a Saudi Arabia event, maybe it'll happen at WrestleMania. I don't know. It'll maybe just pan over. But another thing is, what Big Time said in the chat is Paul Ellering. Yeah, Paul Ellering, if he's healthy, that would be a great mouthpiece for Braun Strowman. He did wonders with the authors of paid AOP, right? But But yeah, it's not the same. It's they're kind of gone as well, off the wayside too. They kind of had a rebranding and stuff with Seth Rollins, but they're not around as much anymore. But yeah, I think for them it'll be Paul Ellering would be a good mouthpiece. Alexa would also be a good mouthpiece if she can wrestle or do anything else. Her as a heel will actually be better. Yeah, Big Time says keep them until WrestleMania. I agree with that as well. That's why I don't think they should do it until WrestleMania. Unless they do a Saudi Arabia thing, then unfortunately Roman's probably gonna win. But something kind of just sparked in my head a few minutes ago while you were talking. Maybe because I was thinking of the Great Khali being more fun to watch and my Indian stable. Another person they could put against Drew McIntyre if he gets healthy. I don't know what his situation is, but Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal was one of the best heels they had for a while, right? And don't forget the three-man band connection. So Jinder Mahal would be a great person to go against Drew McIntyre for the championship as well. I don't know what his health situation is. Maybe someone in chat knows better, but that's another person they could use. But yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe they could still be safe with Roman Reigns and keep him off TV. Maybe he just comes and made his mark like he did, and now due to COVID, let him stay away until WrestleMania. Maybe have him win the Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, I wouldn't want to see that, but maybe actually no, don't have him win the Royal. Have someone else win the Royal Rumble because they have 2 championships and the person could choose which championship they go for, or they have 3. I guess they can go for NXT nowadays too. Whoever wins, I think maybe someone like Finn Balor should win the Royal Rumble and go for the WWE title against maybe Drew McIntyre or whoever it is champion by then, and then have Roman win #1 contendership after winning Elimination Chamber and going against The Fiend at WrestleMania, choosing The Fiend as his opponent. That's how I can see it panning out, and I think that'd be cool. Any thoughts? What else? Anything else, Felicia?
Yeah, I totally agree. But we have The Fiend as champion once again, so we get to see how that goes. I am loving, and I really hope they keep this up, the limit to the Fiend character and that entrance, because every time it comes on, I get freaking hyped up. No matter even if the opponent is gone, but like just knowing the Fiend's coming out, and I'm like, ooh, spooky time or creepy time. And since with Roman coming back, it looks like it will be more than likely 99% against Roman. The thing is, it's Roman. They still love him. The fans they're. I don't know if people are 100% on his side, but it's like a good portion of them are on his side. So but they also love the Fiend. So how is this dynamic going to work? How are we going to get a good match? I mean, no, I can get a good match. We can get a good match out of them. But how will they lay the grounds if they're going to put the strap on Roman? Because eventually that's going to happen, because he's still a top echelon figure for WWE and a big seller for them too.
Yeah,
but
Big Time agrees with you that it's cool seeing him come sporadically, like Finn Balor as the Demon King, and Entertain says he popped when the Fiend interrupted Vince McMahon on SmackDown. They can control it because they control the audience reaction, don't they? So they can have the fans cheer for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but like I said, I do think that a good portion of the fans are on Roman's side.
Yeah.
Now, but I am hesitant because, again, we just put the championship on the Fiend, back on the Fiend, and I just don't want it to be a sloppy loss again. So that's what gets me worried.
All right. With that said, we're going to go to our finishers. So we'll go to Alicia and ask her what her low point, her high point, and her overall grade was. Yeah, so one quick thing. Big Time says they need a long feud with Happy Bray, and one last match that gets brutal, and they bring out the Fiend for the title. They need to build up, not a fast title change. I agree. Like I said, not till WrestleMania, and you heard what I had plans for that. So we'll see if it goes that way. All right,
yeah,
so
we want that, but will the writers and Vince do that? That's always the big deal. I would be happily fine with that, but like I said, I just don't want it to be a sloppy, quick loss to get Roman back on top, because that would then put Roman back on the other pendulum of fans booing him again if it's something like that. But as far as how I felt about these matches, the low point, like I said, I probably could tell from when I was talking about it, it was definitely going to be Mandy and Deville, because it didn't need to be there. It, like I said, that could have been a pre-show match. If that was the match they were going to put forth and give us, that easily could have been a pre-show match, and they could have let Apollo and MVP go a little bit longer and give us that better match that we know they're capable of. The high point is going to be Asuka versus the Besties for both of those matches. I think they got a thorough story out of those feuds, and that culminated in great matches for the both of them to showcase all three of their great capabilities. And I think overall, I'm gonna give this pay-per-view a C+. There were some pretty good matches in there, but there were some duds that really kind of like disappointed me, because we have we had the time to build these up and to it just like flutter into these lackluster matches. We could have done better. I say we like I worked there, but WWE could have did better.
Who knows? I might secretly work in there. They don't use any of my ideas, but they only use some of them. And I don't know. For me, I had to agree. So, like, for me, I had two terrible matches. It was the main event, Braun and Bray, and then the Mandy and Sonya Deville match. But the Sonya and Mandy Deville match edged it out only because Sonya lost, right? I wanted Bray to win, or the Fiend to win, and the Fiend won. I wanted Sonya to win. She lost, so that edges out as the lower point. So Mandy, Sonya, low point. High point for me is Asuka and Sasha. That was just a fantastic match overall. That was like an AJ Styles versus anybody match, pretty much. That's what it seemed like. I'm par with that. So I really enjoyed that. Sasha and Asuka. They make a cool tag team, Saska.
Saska.
And for me, actually, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. So I'm going to give it an A-. I think the only bad points were those two matches. Other than that, it was a really good pay-per-view card overall. I really liked the Thunderdome experience, because I experienced it for the first time there. So that was really cool to see in person, not in person, watch it. And I like when the Street Profits came out and the Solo Cups fell. That was kind of cool as well. So it was some really cool stuff that I enjoyed. Kind of gave you that big atmosphere, WrestleMania type of feel where they do special entrances and such. So that's why I give it an A-. B+, A-, but more like an A-, because the two matches that weren't, good are the only things that really took away from it. Alright, so now that brings us to the deletion. What are you going to do? What we're going to be, and what's going on?
Yep. You can find me.
Oh, sorry, Delicia. In the beginning of the match, we talked about it. We both like the Thunderdome. I actually mentioned what you said last night, big time. I said, you said that you liked it, except you don't like the name. I agree with that. So maybe they should call it like a planetarium, because the WWE universe in it. But I don't think they can use the term planetarium. Yeah. But we both agreed we liked seeing it, and Delicia said they probably have a huge budget, because that probably costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah, for all those screens, I was like, yeah. I had said big time that, how people were saying, oh, they're losing ratings with Raw and SmackDown. I think NXT is still very consistent across the board. They have up days and down days, but they're pretty consistent. But they showed using all those screens to showcase the WWE and to have the broadcast capability to even have all those faces on there. They're not hurting with the money part. They're still making a profit.
And it makes a more intimate experience, too, more personal to the audience, right? The fan, that they're like, well, we're actually looking for ourselves. It's really cool that we're there. Now, are they all the way around, even not on the hard camera side?
I don't know. I think they have it on Raw tonight. So I think I'm gonna try to pay a little bit more attention to see where.
Let me know if it's not on the hard. Swing. It might go right up to like the announcers, and then that's it. You might not see the whole backside. That
Pan right back to the beginning.
But I think when the wrestlers did like a whole 360, they were all there. So I think they do have it. I don't know. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it would make sense. Yeah. No, I was saying maybe you might see one of us on there if they keep it up for the next big pay-per-view, stuff like that. But you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter at DeliciaRenee, and you can now really follow me on YouTube. At DeliciaRenee TV. If you're looking at me in the chat, you can just click on my profile there. To where I'm now doing actual YouTube videos weekly, trying to get them out on Saturdays. Had some issues over the weekend, plus a surprise bridal shower that I didn't get a video out this past weekend, but it'll probably be out tomorrow. And you can also catch me getting on Kyle's nerves with random chats, either in our chat, in the big chats, or just popping up in the stream when he starts that up again out of nowhere like an RKL.
Yeah, unfortunately, the
But yeah, you can find me.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Felicia Renee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, the links in the YouTube, and when you click the person's profile now on YouTube chat, I don't think it works anymore. So I have your link right underneath this video in the description. Your link is in the description, as well as the Anchor link for the podcast if you want to listen to it. If you want to hear us talk again, if you missed anything and you don't want to watch the video version of it, there is a podcast version on Anchor, and the link is also below for that. So just scroll down a little bit. But the first thing that you should see is Alicia's URL for her YouTube page, so make sure you check her out and support her there. She's on her way to 100 subscribers. She wants to get her own URL, so help her support her there and get her there. As for me, I will be back, or we will be back actually very soon, because the next pay-per-view is next week on Sunday, August 30th for Payback. But we're going to break from tradition a little bit because we have a new, well, not a new tradition, but a long-time tradition standing that Delicia's, I guess, performing this weekend. So she's going to be away for this whole weekend and a few days afterwards. So we will be back with Paybacks after Matt, a few days after, I guess the Thursday after, on September 3rd. So even though the pay-per-view is on August 30th and we usually follow up the day after, wait a few days for us and we'll be back on September 3rd with that. And then I'll be back to streaming most likely on September 4th with some Avengers to play that, because I'm a huge fan of Marvel and I love doing all that kind of stuff. And I miss streaming with you guys. So that's pretty much it. Remember, as always, I will be also probably returning to Twitter and social media in September as well. I took a time off, like I said, because the world just wasn't cool. Not cool, but, it just wasn't, I don't know how to say it. It was just very toxic, right? So I want to stay away from that kind of stuff. Keep positivity. Like I always said, be positive. Be nice to people. You don't know what your words can do to somebody, so try to be there and uplifting and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to bring people down. So make sure you're always there for people when they need you, especially in times like this. Strive for unity instead of divisiveness. But as always, I keep telling you, strive for unity and stay away from divisiveness, but keep slamming the haters and become the champion of your dreams. We'll see you next time, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on